Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you another 10 versus 10 on Rift. And in this one I'm going to be using the 7th Panzerdivision. So I wanted to share this game with you guys because it really explores the use of the Rapira missile on these tanks, the T-55AM-2B in this case. Now it gives you 2,800 meter range with 60% accuracy and 18 penetration. Because it's a heat weapon, it always does at least 1 damage to its target as well. So you can still hit and damage the heaviest of tanks at maximum range, and that makes it super powerful. At the start there you heard the Eugens firing away. Originally they were actually right next to the fob. Good tip, never fire your artillery next to a fob. Always pick up your ammo from the fob and then move away. Because otherwise what's going to happen, counter battery is going to come in, it's going to blow up your ammo supply, which is obviously not good. Anyway, Specialzaufkleider moved ahead here, providing that beautiful GSR trait for the exceptional optics. They have been spotted, however, unfortunately, due to the M3A1 Bradleys and probably whatever infantry is in here. I've also got the mod Aufkleider on the left. Now they're going to bump into a couple of M1A1 ACAVs, with my RPG-18 hitting them incredibly hard, as I managed to get a whole breach side shot into one of the M1A1 ACAVs, so really good hits for me. And meanwhile my T-55AM-2Bs are getting max range ATGM hits onto the M3A1 Bradleys because we outranged them. So huge start for my T-55s. Because the M1A1 ACAVs here are damaged, they're going to get hit hard by the ATGMs as well. So big kills so far. Marder 1A3 going to tank one in the front armor. Because this M1A1 ACAV is also low on cohesion now, it's taken ages to reload. It's going to even get stunned there. Does manage to get a shot on target though. Going to have to smoke off my T-55 as it gets low on health. And I smoked off this one because it was about to get hit by the TOW 2. But the T-55 in between the smoke manages to find and thread the needle. So multiple Bradleys taken care of using our superior ranged advantage with the Rapira. But our enemy artillery fire now going to be starting to come in. Takes out my T-813 munition truck. Really unfortunate that I lost that. But my bad for not keeping it moving. The reason I had that supply truck so far up was to resupply the Cub, and also of course resupply the ATGMs on the T-55s that I'm going to be trying to use in abundance in this game. This was pretty much the main reason that I played with the 7th Panzerdivision, was to try the T-55A and 2Bs with these Rapiras and see how effective they really can be. In this case the Leopard 1A5 able to be hit and penetrated quite efficiently by the T-55s at range as well, so we managed to get a kill there with the main gun, but ATGMs coming in hot, and only a matter of time until that takes one to the front. So now 2 more Leopard 1A5s being added to the kill count. So far it's been an incredibly successful start. Multiple players on this side being hit a lot by my ATGMs. So the Bradleys with those TOW 2s, they have range of about 2,650 I think, and then mine obviously have 2,800, so I've got an extra 150 meter range to work with, which means we're already firing, well, we're always firing out ATGMs first, which is super important, because you know by the time they fire theirs and it's like halfway towards us, we're going to be hitting them if it's on target. So that's huge. And because of the amount that I'm using, it's quite likely that we're going to get the kill. Anyway, Specialzaufkleider have managed to stay alive and in position here, which provided me lots of wonderful information. We've got Valdus, who is going to smoke himself off, give him a bit of cover, so he can move forwards and engage the Marder 1A3 Milans. Those Milan 2s can do a decent amount of damage. In this case, though, it's the T-72, so Valdis not going to be losing anything in this case. T-72MK was brought up to help assist the T-55s and also capture this sector, but I'm going to be waiting here for the T-813 to arrive so that I can fix up all my tanks before we advance forwards. Benspeer Scharfschütze actually found my Spezialaufkläder, so a little bit unfortunate because they're going to be revealed for a little while and allow the Leopard 1A5 to engage them. Artillery coming in once again, this time for Valdis's forces. T-72 in a very precarious situation. One of those artillery rounds lands on target and that will go down. Meanwhile, Spezialaufkläder trying to get out of there. The BMP-1Ps forcing the smoke out of the Leopard 1A5 is going to allow my Spezialaufkläder to survive for the time being. Milan 2s need to be focused down. Will be hit pretty hard. One of them killed off there. Second one in the open shouldn't last too long. T-55s have now been fixed up, and I'm going to take the opportunity to get my T-72 into the edge of this sector. So yeah, so far so good. These T-55s really paying off with those Rapira ATGMs. And with these Soviet tank engagements, I've mentioned it before in other videos, you really do want to take advantage of your ATGM range. And like even just the small chip damage that these T-55 MTBs can do with their Rapira is super important, because it will affect the cohesion of the enemy tanks. But all of the T-55s now fixed up, T-72Ms now coming in to back them up. The great thing about the T-72M is it's a pretty tanky beast. It's also resolute, which means it doesn't suffer so much from cohesion loss. You can see it takes less suppression in combat. And that's really helpful when you're taking direct fire from enemy tanks. Another M3A1 Bradley being picked off there. Leopard 1A5 on the left hand side finding a cheeky shot towards the T-55. I'm going to have to obviously deal with that at some point, but managed to get the front armour facing, so that's good. The 813 coming into position here just to try and fix up the Spezialaufkläder, get them reinforced. T-72Ms meanwhile are going to be pushing towards the left side, but I'm bringing up another Spezialaufkläder so that I can scout my way in, because I don't want to be just driving in here willy-nilly, because there's a good chance that there's enemy infantry that's going to deal a decent chunk of damage. But Leopard 2A4, Leopard 1A5 advancing towards Valdis and Todt, so going to be throwing some HGMs towards them. Managed to find some really nice side shots, so 1A5 goes down, 2A4 goes down. 2A4 is a big kill there. So with those Spezialaufkläder reinforced, able to push forwards now, provide recon for these tanks. Just got to make sure that I stay nice and spread out. Artillery is coming in from my T-72MK, so I'm not going to just leave it there to be shot at. We're going to move out temporarily. Toxic bringing up some 2A3s that I'm going to need to deal with. Managed to get my first hit in there, forcing the smoke. Meanwhile, the T-72 is now pushing hard onto the Feldjägersicherungs. None of these have AT, and I'm well aware of that. The only thing that I need to be worried about is the Panzerfaust 3 from the Fallschirmjäger. Leopard 1A5 obviously is a target I need to take care of, but meanwhile the rest of those forces are going to be easily forced back, and the Leopard 2A3s do not want to keep being hit by these ATGMs as they chip them down. M3A1 Bradley now coming in once again to the engagement. Going to be smoking off to avoid the TOW-2 and hoping that my T-55s can return the shot. MiG-21 coming in with the bombing strike there is going to take out some of the infantry on the left hand side. Now we've got enemy cluster coming in. Rocket artillery with cluster. We've got to back off from that. Now in order to help deal with a lot of this infantry, I brought up a bunch of more Schützen in the BTRs. So we've got the SBW T-70s providing some fire. T-72M meanwhile is tanking the shots from the Fallschirmjäger though, which is good. So far so good. T-55s really struggling to be hit by the 2A3s because again you can see the cohesion loss here from all of these ATGMs hitting them, and Valdes bringing up the Mi-24Ds helping massively with that as well. So another 2A3 going to go down. The Phalangers fired away, followed up by the Rapiras. 2A3s forced off, and even though these 2A3s are much superior to a T-55 in terms of main gun and armor, the ATGM helping us win these engagements is absolutely huge. And you can see the spread is really, really nice. So I've got them spread out nice and wide. And it means that these heavy tanks are much more likely to be hit by side shots from these ATGMs. So Spezialsabklarer, Mordschützen pushing in onto the Fallschirmjäger on the left hand side. Meanwhile we're going to push forward the T-72s. Try and get on top of the Ihawk or the Bradley in this case. I'm going to smoke off the T-72. No need for me to get hit by the TOW-2 there. Just going to back up, allow the Rapira to get the kill, and then I just need to make sure that I resupply the smoke on my tanks after I use it. So already there you can see that the cohesion has been lowered. It starts off at like blue, then it goes to like green, then yellow, then red. And we already take it down to green cohesion just from one ATGM hitting and doing 1 damage, so it's pretty significant. ATGM coming in from the side now as it tries to push forwards, and now I've also got the T-72Ms that can obviously put pressure with their main gun. Against M1A1s though it's going to struggle. We have 19 penetration but we have a lack of range, like 2,100 meter range. Again, cohesion being lowered by these ATGMs is going to mean the M1A1's going to be less effective. In this case, I took a hit from the M3A1 Bradley, so I end up getting one back. But another Bradley going down. T-72M1s are engaging this M1A1 that's already been lowered on its cohesion, so that's great. And now I'm hoping the T-55 can find the kill, and it does. So all of those Abrams down, all of the Bradleys down, and more reinforcements coming from the opposing team onto this side to deal with the amount of tanks that I have. But yeah, managing to keep them nice and spread out. Very, very effective use of these Rapiras throughout the game. It's the primary reason that I really wanted to show this off, because if you are using one of these sort of less powerful armoured divisions like the 7th Panzerdivision in this case, or even like the 4th Mordschützen of the East Germans, they do have these tanks that have the Rapiras. Some of them even have the AT guns that have the Rapiras, the 100 mils. And they can be super, super effective on maps like these where it's already open. And you'd expect like the M1A1 Abrams or the Leopards to be able to run us down, but because we're spreading them out, it's allowing us to get such good hits in, and in this case that hit the side shot onto the M1A1 and just took it out there immediately. Look how much damage that's doing with the Rapira there. T-72M is under pressure though as those Leopard 1A5s continue to push forwards. They do have 50% stabilizer, so the T-72 is definitely in trouble. But Toad coming in with the Su-24 cluster strike, looking for a kill onto at least one of these Leopards. Not going to find it. Poor Humvee drove straight into that though. That's for sure. So these two T-72Ms going to be pushing forwards. You can see that I'm bringing back all the T-55s one by one to the T-813. If they ain't getting damaged like this T-72M, we'll move that back as well. But at the moment, just continuing the charge forwards. Try and start the engagement with the 1A5s again, but obviously with superior armour. So I've got 19 penetration. They got 7 front armour, so you can see the Leopard 1A5 there taking a lot of damage from that hit. I'm just going to try and pick these off one by one and try not to lose my T-72M in the process there. Let's get stunned. We're going to be able to smoke it off just in time. Second T-72M going to continue the engagement. T-55 hitting the same target with an ATGM allows us to clean that up. SPW-20 was, or 70 was moving up on the left-hand side, so scouted out some infantry for me. That's going to be a job for the mod Schützen to clean up. Now enemy artillery coming in though, so I've got to be a bit careful. Just got to keep the dodge going onto this artillery. Very, very close to killing this T-72M, but more tanks now coming up. We've got the T-813s moving up slightly as well. The push coming along really, really nicely on this left-hand side. CH-53 on the ground. Gonna take off just in time before another ATGM flies its way. I've got to be careful of this Apache. Don't have really any decent helicopter AA right now. But I do have decent range, and this Apache, it doesn't have ATGMs, so I'm able to continue to engage the M1A1 Abrams and the Leopard 1A5s. And there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that they can do in this sort of situation is use smoke and also potentially just make sure that they group up all of their tanks, say in like a tree line here or something, and then peek them all at once in order to get the kill. But keeping all of their stuff out in the open like this is just a recipe for disaster, and you can see that one by one these tanks are being picked off, and we're just building a larger and larger number advantage against our opponents, which is just going to become more and more overwhelming on this left hand side. And you know, there was like 2 players here, at least maybe 3, trying to help out on this side, and I've just managed to dismantle them with these Rapira ATGMs. Now arguably I would say that they maybe overbuffed them a little bit, because they were only like 40% and they felt pretty useless before, but now with 60% accuracy they're almost too good. So maybe we should be sticking to like 50%. Anyway, TS-55 AM2B does eventually go down to the tanks on the left, but we managed to find a Leopard 2A4 kill on the right hand side. So it's just an absolute massacre as we continue to push forwards. My Specials Afghan provided me recon the whole way. Another T-55 unfortunately falling down. Smoke here actually causing problems. You can see that my T-55 is definitely not surviving as much because I'm forced to get closer in order to engage the enemy. And by getting closer, the NATO tanks have a greater advantage because of their higher accuracy, their higher base accuracy, so they're much more likely to land their first shot, and at close range that is devastating because they do more damage due to the way that kinetic shots versus armor work. So T-72s on the way, 4 more. T-72s are much better for the close range engagements, and since we're getting closer to this town and the tree lines, the T-72s are going to be preferable. The T-55s are great as long as I'm fighting over this big open area here, but now the smoke's forcing me to get closer. T-72s are the choice, and we use that 2,100 meter range with the 19 pen to get through these forces. So artillery now coming in from our teammate, the Eugens, slapping those tree lines, which is really, really nice artillery support from our teammate. But a +7 on our team, as you can see. 42 seconds left on the count. Pushing through the smoke there, the Leopard 105 is getting the better of my T-72. I can't really push through because of all of the BO 105s that I have no AA for, so we are a little bit stuck here. I'm going to have to get my Kubs up nice and close, or get some Strelas in or something, maybe rely on my teammate to kind of help out with that. But for now, the smoke making it pretty much impossible for me to move up, and you can see what I was saying earlier about how smoke can really counter what I was doing. And it has slowed me down massively. Never underestimate smoke, guys. But yeah, the T-55s otherwise, with those Rapiras, doing incredibly well. And I think I was catching out my opponent a lot in this game, because he was trying to use the TOW2s to engage my T-55s, but I outranged him. So in only 20 minutes and 32 seconds, we're going to find 4,469 kills to 1,320 losses. An absolute massacre of NATO armor on that left-hand side, primarily due to the T-55 AM2B, as you can see. Yeah, really, really strong. On those open maps, this is really, really effective. In the sort of closer ranges, these T-55s are going to suffer quite substantially, so do bear that in mind. Like, this isn't like me telling you to use these units because they're really OP all the time. This is me trying to kind of show off how effective the Rapira ATGM is at a long range. So make good use of it. You can find the Rapira on BMP3s, you can find it on the AT weapon, the 100mm AT gun, and there's also a bunch of tanks, T-62s, T-55s, that have the Rapira available. So check them all out and see how you get on. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.